NDTV World Summit 2024, October 21st and 22nd, only on NDTV Network.
The moment I saw it, I thought I will have to come here. I'm loving it.
An experience to remember for a lifetime.
जानू ना मुझको कैसे है पा लिया इस शहर ने लापता था मैं पहले अपना लिया इस शहर ने शोर भी लगे एक दिन की तरह हर दिन लगे एक नई सी सुबह भीड़ सी है इस डगर में लाखों सपने हैं नजर में लाख लो से तेज है पर मौज सी है इस सफर पे
क्योंकि अभी एक IFP करके एक फेस्टिवल और होता है अभी आपका भी तो IFP में सेशन था
कोई था जिसका IFP में सेशन नहीं था
I love being here, man. IFP is like home.
Feels so good to be here. Feels good to be back, feels like home.
It was a wonderful session and my first time at IFP has been a blast.
I loved it. I loved it. The energy in the room was absolutely brilliant.
I'm so glad to be here. It's an electric atmosphere. So many people who love films here.
It's so exciting because the audiences have been extremely warm and we have all of these amazing people over here.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
From the heart of city in Beirut.
After BJP's big win in Haryana, Prime Minister Modi has met caretaker Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini. Haryana government formation is the focus.
Key India bloc allies have now questioned Congress party over its loss in Haryana after Aam Aadmi Party and TMC. Now UBT Shiv Sena has called out the Congress party after its loss in Haryana polls. India allies have slammed the Congress party's arrogance.
Omar Abdullah has spoken to NDTV saying that there are differences with the BJP, but we won't fight them. We will pass statehood resolution soon.
Big news from RBI, no relief in EMIs. Key lending rate unchanged. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das led Monetary Policy Committee has made this announcement, saying that repo rate has been kept unchanged.
NDTV report from war zone, Lebanon-Syria border. More than 1 million Lebanese people have been displaced in the ongoing war. Netanyahu has warned Lebanon of facing destruction like Gaza.
In the US, Hurricane Milton now closes in on Florida. Thousands are fleeing the state. Well, a day after the BJP struck a hat-trick in the state of Haryana, becoming the only party since the inception of the state of Haryana in 1966 to come back to power for the third time, it's the Congress party that's facing the heat. Remember, the party has been sitting in the opposition for the last 10 years. This time it was hopeful of defeating the BJP, but that hasn't happened. It continues to be in the opposition. Now, allies, India bloc allies have questioned the Congress party strategies and also its abilities to take on the BJP when it comes to a direct fight between the BJP and the Congress party. It's not just the Haryana, even in Jammu, the Congress party has managed to just win one seat. It was a direct fight between the BJP and Congress, and it's the BJP that has managed to strengthen its position in Jammu, even as the NC continues to reign supreme in the whole of J&K. But allies on offensive, Congress on the back foot now, specifically with regard to its Haryana performance, where it performed not as per expectations and will continue to be part of opposition.
Absolutely, Vasudha. Now, India allies hitting out at the Congress over the Haryana laws. It's not just the Aam Aadmi Party or the TMC, but also Uddhav Sena that has slammed the Congress party. Uddhav Sena mouthpiece Samna has mocked the Congress, saying that the Congress needs to learn from the Haryana laws. And it also went on to mention that K. Selja was publicly humiliated during the polls. Well, we do understand there was infighting going on between the Selja camp and the Huda camp, and that was certainly out in the public, and that's what the that's what has been mentioned in UBT mouthpiece Samna. The Congress High Command failed to curb the infighting. That is what it has said. Now, what the TMC has said. TMC has said that it's the arrogance of the Congress that has led to the loss for the Congress party in Haryana. Not just that, Aam Aadmi Party boss Arvind Kejriwal also has hit out at the Congress party for the infighting, taking the infighting jibe at the Congress party.
Well, Aam Aadmi Party is also in some ways justified in its anger against the Congress Party because it was a state unit of, led by Hudas, which also led to the Aam Aadmi Party Congress deal not working out. TMC, of course, Mamata Banerjee has never been part of the India Alliance before elections. She has always had problems with Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary and the state unit. But, of course, all allies taking pot shots at the Congress Party. Let's first listen into what Sanjay Raut of Shiv Sena UBT said today.
हरियाणा में इंडिया गठबंधन नहीं बन पाया क्योंकि वहां कांग्रेस को लगता था कि बस हम अपने ताकत पर अपने बलबूते पर जीतेंगे तो सत्ता में और कोई भागीदार नहीं चाहिए। तो हमारे जो मित्र है हुड्डा जी या कांग्रेस के नेता है उनको लगा कि हम ही जीतेंगे। अगर समाजवादी पार्टी है अखिलेश जी की, आप है केजरीवाल साहब के नेतृत्व में, हमारे जैसे छोटे छोटे दल है, हमारे खाते में 1-2 सीटें आ जाती तो जरूर ये जो चित्र है, ये निर्णय है जो जनता ने दिया, उसमें जरूर बदलाव होता। मैं ये मानता हूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जो चुनाव लड़ा है वो बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से लड़ा है। हारी हुई बाजी बीजेपी ने जीत ली, ये मान्य करना पड़ेगा।
Sanjay Raut of Shiv Sena UBT making an important point there, alleging that the Congress party did not give due importance to its own allies, including Samajwadi Party and Aam Aadmi Party. Remember, these were parties that were eyeing for a few seats. Of course, those deals did not really work out. And Aam Aadmi Party has managed to get a little bit of vote share in certain parts of Haryana, including in the district of Kurukshetra. Going across to my colleagues, Sujata, who reports from Mumbai, and of course, Saurabh Gupta, who is joining us from Kolkata. Sujata, to you first, this is a very sharp attack on the Congress party by Shiv Sena, led by UBT, and it comes at a very critical time because the seat sharing arrangement talks are going on, and there has been an implicit understanding that there will not be a CM face, and this is not something that the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the party wants. They want Uddhav Thackeray to be designated as a CM face. So clearly, Congress facing a lot of heat from its Mahavikas Aghadi allies.
Well, yes, and speaking on that, it was Uddhav Thackeray who was being seen up and looked up as the chief ministerial face in the upcoming elections. But this time it was the seat sharing that somewhere led to a tussle that was happening, where Congress did ask for a lion's share in this entire seat sharing talks. But after the Haryana poll, it is somewhere that the Samana as well as Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray's various leaders, including Sanjay Raut, have been clearly, mocking Congress for their performance and also how somehow it was a ready-to-win elections for the Congress, but it was their overconfidence and also the factionalism that led to this incident happening, where the Congress did not turn up to form their government, and the move of the Congress to go solo in the elections eventually led to them losing the elections. So somewhere Sanjay Raut definitely hinting at things not going right with the Congress in the Haryana, and also, but he did say that this will not impact or affect the upcoming Vidhan Sabha polls in Maharashtra at all. But what remains to be seen that this statement at this appointed time, where the seat sharing talks are underway until the 12th of October, it is the Mahavikas Aghadi who has to finalize their seat sharing talks, and where in Mumbai and several other regions in Maharashtra, after the Lok Sabha polls, the Congress is demanding a lion's share in the seats. However, will they be given that or not, considering and taking in review of their recent Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha, as well as the recent results that has come out in Haryana? It is somewhere a big doubt with regards to the Mahavikas Aghadi integrity and unity at this point. But what, a message that Sanjay Raut did give was praising the BJP for its performance, stating that it was a loss for the BJP as per what the exit polls did show, but it was BJP who converted it into a win. So somewhere Sanjay Raut at this point against the Congress and mocking them for the
Developments here,
performance.
Sujata. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Sujata. Looking at the developments that have taken place now, with the UBT now hitting out of the Congress party, looks like the Congress is certainly on the back foot here and seems to be losing the negotiating muscle when it comes to talks with the alliance partners over this seat sharing. Let me go across to Saurabh also here. Saurabh, not just the UBT or the Aam Aadmi party, but also the TMC now hitting out at the Congress party, with Saket Gokhale putting out this tweet saying that arrogance, entitlement and looking down on regional parties is a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. And with the Trinamool Congress and the Congress party, specifically in the West Bengal context, this has been a problem. Now, even if you look at the Lok Sabha elections, the seat sharing deal did not work out between the Trinamool and the Congress party. Because the number of seats that the Congress demanded was something that the Trinamool felt that the Congress didn't have the wherewithal to win. Now, in a state like West Bengal, of course, the situation may be slightly reversed for the Congress, where it is, of course, the smaller partner and the Trinamool is the larger party in terms of organization, vote share and number of seats won in previous elections. But look at it from the national picture and look at regional parties and how, the Congress can form alliances with them. And like Sujata was explaining, for example, whether it's the chief ministerial face in Maharashtra in Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray, or whether it's the Congress states like Haryana, where many believe that perhaps an alliance with the Aam Aadmi party could have bettered the chances of the Congress party, because the results clearly didn't go as they expected. So in West Bengal too, the Trinamool has been saying is that the Congress needs to adopt a change in its attitude towards regional parties, which it can partner, because the larger sort of anti-BJP platform on the anti-BJP political forces in the country can come together. But for that, the Congress needs to, stop acting as the big brother when it comes to regional forces. And that's something that perhaps is an issue we will see in recurring elections vis-a-vis seat sharing negotiations. We are already seeing it in Maharashtra, like Sujata was explaining. In West Bengal, that has happened during the Lok Sabha elections. There was no seat sharing deal and it didn't go well for the Congress. The Congress actually, lost a seat from the last time. Adit Chaudhary, who was vehemently against an alliance with the Trinamool, lost his own seat.
Saurabh will come back to you.
Saurabh, and also going across to Aishwarya now, Saurabh is making a very important point here. Of course, TMC was never part of the India bloc, when the elections began, and of course when the India bloc was formed. And Mamata Banerjee has always had problems with the way Congress leadership behaved, not really consulting people when it comes to presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate. But the BJP also has in some ways a narrative role to play in this, and this is why I would like to get Aishwarya on this. Aishwarya, the Prime Minister spoke about how the Congress party has always been dependent on allies. In fact, he has always called the Congress party parasite-like. That's a very sharp attack. And yesterday he said that, he repeated it. So how is the BJP looking at Congress party facing all this criticism, attack from its own allies?
Well, yesterday as well, it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who sharpened his attack on the Congress party, stating that it's one royal family that is that lives in a five-star, and they want to govern the entire country. They do not go to the roots, and they're dependent on their allies. And whenever there had been alliance with the Congress party, in fact, the Congress party had suffered, and that too we have seen in the state of Haryana and also in the national capital as well. The Congress and Aam Aadmi Party, remember, were in alliance in the national capital as well for the Lok Sabha polls. We faced a 7-0 defeat in all the 7 Lok Sabha constituencies in Haryana as well. There was no alliance that was made, and therefore it impacted. And largely, if we see the data coming out from the Election Commission of India as far as the vote share is concerned, majorly where the Bharatiya Janata Party had won these seats with a margin of close to 1,000 to 2,000, there were several of those constituencies where Aam Aadmi Party got at least those number of votes which can cut the Congress share and had gained to the Bharatiya Janata Party ultimately. So of course in the Bharatiya Janata Party is looking at region wise, and the senior leadership had clearly stated to us that every state elections are different, every polls are different for them, and they make their strategies according to that particular region as well. And looking at different states coming up in the elections, whether it is Delhi, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, they will be making their strategy according to what the opposition is also thinking on. So clearly, the BJP is thinking far more ahead. Of course, the strategies are being made at this level when the election dates are not only announced. There are several meetings that had been done in different states, including Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and Delhi. There had been already in charges that have been made. They have been stationed at those states. So BJP strategy is very different, as they say that BJP is always in election mode around the year.
Right. Thank you, Aishwarya. So, a resounding victory of the BJP in Haryana, this hat-trick that the BJP scored in Haryana yesterday, and the setback to the Congress party that continues to be in opposition in Haryana, of course, will have political consequences, because while it puts the BJP in a stronger footing in the upcoming elections, particularly in the states of Haryana, like our colleagues were also talking about, and of course, in Jharkhand, there is a price that the Congress will have to pay politically, electorally, in terms of seats, in terms of narrative, in terms of the way its own allies see it. And that's what we will discuss today. Joining us now is Tarun Upadhyay, who is a senior journalist. And we also have Sajjan Kumar, who is a political commentator and author. Thank you both of you for joining us on this show. Sajjan, to you first. There is an increase in vote share. There is an increase in also seat share of the BJP. But what these election results have also done for the party largely is, in some ways, it has vindicated the positioning of the party in terms of its popularity, especially after what we saw in 2024, Lok Sabha elections. On the 4th of June, there was this slight doubt that the popularity of the PM is probably not as much as people thought it was, and clearly that the BJP probably is in a state of decline. Now, all of that in some ways has been proved wrong, because in Jammu, the party has strengthened its position, and in Haryana, it looks like it's a force that is going to stay, because clearly a big vote share and a historic hat-trick. How do you see BJP's positioning nationally and the impact on the Congress party?
Yeah, Vasudha, two things. One, coming to Congress, you see a colossal gap between the rhetoric that Rahul Gandhi has been using for the last couple of years, a very radical pro-Dalit, pro-tribal, and pro-weaker section egalitarian rhetoric. But when it comes to the real politics, they happen to do just the opposite, choosing the dominant intermediary communities or caste who have a feudal trait as their prime anchor. So you have to do either one of them. You cannot nail them together. So this is a gross misfit. So for example, choosing communities like Jat at their prime anchor, or say, for example, Marathas in Maharashtra, while talking about the radical Dalit interest, etc., it doesn't gel together because the ground experience is completely different, and that leads to the kind of disaster which has been there. So this is one. Two, for BJP, the impact is going to be colossal. One, mind it, Haryana has been a state wherein all the narrative that hit BJP very strongly in the Lok Sabha election, be it on the plank of farmers issue, be it on the plank of Agniveer, and also on the plank of racial protest. So that was Pahalwan, Jawan, and Kisan, while it was supposed to decimate BJP's normative edge, which has been declining or perceivably declining since Lok Sabha election. Now, this electoral victory in Haryana is not just a simple arithmetic victory. It is a defeat of the narrative. How do you now attack the Agniveer? Because it is in the state of Haryana that BJP has been vindicated. Now, you cannot go to Bengal and Maharashtra and criticize Agniveer scheme. Similarly, on the farmers' plank also, there has been an endorsement. So that way, whatever be the case on the ground, in terms of the normative age, in terms of the narrative kind of a war, Haryana victory is going to resonate across India, and immediately it is going to have the resonance in Maharashtra, because mind it, there also we already see the kind of uncomfort within the India alliance. But more important would be, will you allow a dominant section in Maharashtra, say like Marathas, cater to their own interest in the name of farmer, in the name of soldier, in the name of so many other occupational identity, while the rest who would be expected to just be the supporting band? So that sort of a Congress kind of a radical narrative of the weaker section, while making the dominant feudal reactionary section, be it KAP or a section of other reactionary forces, as their prime anchor to defeat BJP,
So this
is
Jawan
not going to work.
Pahalwan assessment that the Congress had, it definitely has gone wrong. It hasn't worked in the favor of the Congress party. And of course, this victory in Haryana is definitely what many are calling as a booster shot for the BJP. Going forward in elections in Maharashtra, Jharkhand, or Delhi, that is going to take place next year, of course. This definitely has come as a boost for the BJP. Celebrations had been taking place yesterday all day, and today also, of course, important meetings that are taking place. Haryana government formation, of course, is going to be in focus now, but nevertheless, let me go across to Mr. Tarun Upadhyay also. What has gone wrong for the Congress here? We do understand the India allies are now hitting out at the Congress party over their loss in Haryana. The Aam Aadmi Party chief, Arvind Kejriwal, has said that the biggest lesson to be drawn from this loss in Haryana is never be overconfident. Stronger words being used by other allies. TMC saying arrogance is a recipe for disaster, and that's what has happened to the Congress here. Going forward, they're going to lose the negotiating muscle here, sir, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you in all the terms which you have stated, that it's a mix-up of all the things which you have stated, the arrogance, the overconfidence. And the party, I think, was believing that it will win by default. I will give you one instance, one or two instances. The party has got just 6 seats in J&K, just 1 seat from the Jammu region and 5 from the Kashmir region. It is the lowest tally of the party in the entire political history of Jammu and Kashmir. The last time its tally was 7 seats, that was in the 1996. So you can well understand how low the party has hit, not only across the country, but also especially in Jammu and Kashmir. There are a couple of factors to be analyzed why the party, why the result was so. Firstly, unlike the Prime Minister, who addressed, I think, about 7 to 8 rallies across Jammu and Kashmir, mostly focusing on the Jammu region, Home Minister Amit Shah addressed about a dozen rallies, even in the remote areas of Jammu region, in the Kishtwar, where no person of his stature has addressed the rally before. That shows the conviction and the strategy of the party. Look at the Congress. Rahul Gandhi addressed just 4 rallies in the entire political campaign across the Jammu and Kashmir. Secondly, Priyanka Gandhi addressed just 1 rally in the Jammu region. And thirdly, I traveled across the Jammu region for the coverage of these elections. We could hardly see the party flags, even next door to the candidates who was contesting from their own constituencies. There were so many issues on the platter for the Congress party. I mean, there was a lot of disenchantment.
The Congress party continues to blame the EVM, sir. EVMs are to be blamed. That is what the Congress party is
but the same
back
EVM,
at, the old textbook.
But the same EVMs gave the party 100 seats in the last parliamentary elections. Then how can they blame the EVMs? I mean, the point is that the party has to think, does it want to be a politically serious player or not? Or you just want to make us some alibi and blame either the EVM or the election commission? That won't work. The point is the party is not getting traction. And
So
that is
clearly the
the
party's
reason.
narrative, like both of you are also saying, has to be in tandem with, the central leadership. And like Sajjan was also pointing out, there can't be a discord between what the state leadership is doing and what the central leadership is doing. There can't be, that kind of, lack of coordination even in theorizing what you really want for people. But, like Kitty was also saying that these elections will have an impact on the upcoming Delhi elections as well, where the Aam Aadmi Party, of course, is a stronger force, and Congress Party has been decimated a number of times in the last few years, and the BJP is an emerging force. So let's listen into what Aam Aadmi Party Supremo Arvind Kejriwal said yesterday on the prospects of the Congress Party and how it needs to sort of rework on its strategy.
पहली चीज़ तो किसी भी चुनाव को हल्के में नहीं लेना चाहिए। अभी तो पता नहीं नतीजे क्या हैं, लेकिन आज के चुनाव से सबसे बड़ी सबक यही है कि ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस मत करना कभी भी। किसी भी चुनाव को हल्के में नहीं लेना चाहिए। हर चुनाव कठिन होता है, हर चुनाव में हर सीट कठिन होती है, मेहनत करनी है।
Okay, going back to Sajjan. Sajjan, I would want you to talk a little bit more about the social anti-incumbency. So while the Jats were not in power, there is a certain feudal social order that is in place in several states. Is that what also, contributes to people making political choices? Because like you said, lived experiences cannot be, dismissed. So while Rahul Gandhi is going to Dalit kitchens, why are the Dalits of Haryana not voting for him?
Even Uday Bhan lost his seat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, precisely because of, this entire Bahujan, I mean, the root, let's digress a bit. Mayawati's and Kashiram's experiment of Bahujan discourse had a kind of a very decisive blow in the very genesis itself in the early 1990s, when they tried to come together with the Samajwadi Party and ground experience, and thereafter they changed from Bahujan to Sarvajan, and that was an electoral success. In Haryana, coming to Haryana, Jats are 25%. They have, in terms of they own almost kind of 1/3 of the land. Similarly, they also have the political clout, they have the financial clout, and thereafter they also have a bureaucratic presence. So that way, coupled with that, there is a sense of owning the state. Similarly, you find, say, for example, among the Marathas in Maharashtra, so that sort of a very domineering presence. So this is one. So what happens? It's a question of the memory. So when BJP was there for 10 years, and there were certainly so many drawbacks and lacunas in governance on the governance index. So there was political anti-incumbency. But what Congress did, by completely relying on one community, one leader who have a decisive say, it ended up triggering the memory of, something which is an everyday reality. And therefore, what happens that since Jats are so domineering, they also started making strong noises, and therefore whatever narrative we were getting was from their perspective. Why something that the non-Jats in Haryana could break down and we did not do it before the election was that they also have the moral plank of projecting their caste identity tactically in forms of the occupational identity. So they can become a farmer, they can become a soldier, they can become a wrestler, but the non-Jats could see through it that primarily it's the vested interest of one community. When Congress becomes their prime anchor, Congress becomes someone who caters to their interest. While you talk big, talk progressive, certainly people are going to choose because people have one vote,
They
and it
had
is a
this
weaker
fear
section.
in them, probably. That is what is being talked about, that the other communities...
Let me just briefly add. Indian Institute of Dalit Studies in 2022 conducted a study sanctioned by Haryana Social Justice Ministry, and they found out that of all the atrocities until now committed on Dalits, is the official study, 52% are Jats, 30%, and that's surprising, in Mewat region happens to be Muslims. So when you talk about the Dalit, Muslim and Jat unity, doesn't have a sociological ground resonance.
Okay. Tarun Upadhyay, where does the Congress go from here, sir? Because, I would disagree with Sajjan on this because, all parties do focus on the dominant communities, be it even the BJP focusing on Patidars in Gujarat or the Lingayat communities in Karnataka. So these political compulsions are sometimes really, sort of difficult to challenge and navigate. And the social order is something that even parties forget to accumulate or include as part of their strategy. But Mr. Upadhyay, how do you see the Congress reworking its strategy from here, because its own allies are sort of attacking the Congress party for being a big brother, but for not really listening to them?
party is acting like a big brother, but not listening to the ground realities and also to its allies. Sanjan was making a point, and you also made a point with regard to the scheduled caste. In Jammu region, that there are 5 seats of the SC community, and the Congress lost all the 5 seats. So this reflects how much resonance the party the rhetoric is getting on the ground. Secondly, you talked about this the party high command and the leaders who are on the ground, they should act in a tandem. But what I personally got to know that the high command was given a picture that the party is doing absolutely doing wonders in the Jammu region. And look at the hard reality, just got the one vote. So that is the way the party functioning. Party is basically, in my opinion, of covering this political scene in the Jammu and Kashmir and also the rest of the countries, the party works in a very bureaucratic manner. The ground realities are not given to the high command, and high command, in my opinion, tends to live in a delusion. So that doesn't work if you have a competitor like Bharatiya
Yesterday, a
Janata.
Congress leader told me that the focus is only on roadshows and rallies and not really on building the organization or rebuilding it in places where it has actually lost momentum. Is that true about the Congress party? Because we hear so much about Mohammed Ki Dukaan, hear so much about roadshows and these huge rallies and visits of Rahul Gandhi to isolated, deprived communities, which are all like really remarkable. But clearly, the nuts and bolts of politics, the organization, is that where the Congress needs to focus on?
Absolutely. Even the road shows are missing in Jammu and Kashmir. I mean, on the contrary, even the road shows are missing in Jammu and Kashmir. Even they would have done it seriously, the party may have got 1 or 2 seats. So the point you are making is absolutely right. The party doesn't have a coherent policy in how to go about it. Mohabbat ki dukaan, I mean, the Rahul Gandhi's TRP may have gone a bit. I mean, it got reflected in the last parliamentary results, but the ground realities are entirely different. Why the people are not reposing faith in the Congress party? That's a serious thing. I mean, in the entire Jammu region, not a single Hindu seat has been won by the Congress, and that can extrapolate in a very serious manner across the rest of the country, and that's a serious thinking the party has to do.
Used to being a minor player and is dependent on its allies, and that is why the allies here are quite vocal. I mean, they're of course quite vocal and hitting out at the Congress party here. All right, I'm being told that Farooq Abdullah is speaking at the moment. Let's dip in.
एक सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये है कि महंगाई आसमान पे है। साथ साथ ये भी बताऊं आपको कि बेकारी बदहाली बहुत ज़बरदस्त है। हमारे बच्चे और बच्चियां पढ़ी लिखी बेकार हैं, उनके लिए हमने काम ढूंढना है। जम्मू और कश्मीर में जो इन्होंने डिफरेंसेस पैदा की हैं, उन डिफरेंसेस को हमने कम करना है। हमने कोशिश करनी है कि वहाँ के हिंदू को भी एतमाद हो कि हम उनके लिए भी वैसा ही सोचेंगे जैसा हम अपने कश्मीर के लिए सोच रहे हैं। हम कोई फ़र्क नहीं करेंगे। उन्हें वोट नहीं दिया तो क्या हुआ, मगर हमारा फ़र्ज़ है कि हम उनकी मुश्किलात को दूर करें।
आपने कल कहा कि उमर साहब सीएम बनेंगे, लेकिन उमर साहब कह रहे हैं कि पहले कैबिनेट मीटिंग होगी, उसके बाद डिसाइड होगा। तो क्या कहना चाहिए?
मैंने जो डिसाइड किया वही होगा। चलिए, चलो, अल्लाह। सलाम अलैकुम। शुक्रिया मौलवी साहब, सलाम अलैकुम।
All right, Farooq Abdullah there speaking to the media just a while back, saying that what has been decided is going to happen. Of course, speaking about its ally Congress party also, that they're going to support the Congress party, even though we do understand in Jammu Kashmir that the Congress party has been reduced to a minor force in the alliance, the NC Congress alliance.
1 seat in Jammu and just 6 seats, compared to 12 that they had. So clearly that is a big setback, and clearly they were riding on the power and mobilization aspect of NC. NC has 42 seats out of the 51 that it contested. This is a huge strike rate, and also NC making it very clear that it is the predominant force when it comes to JNK.
Major player in the alliance, of course. Yes.
The grand old man of Kashmir politics making it very clear that Umar Abdullah is going to be the chief minister, and what he says will happen. That was, of course, on a lighter note. But back to the state which is making a lot of news because BJP has scored this massive hat trick there. Of course, Congress faces a setback, it continues to be in the opposition. Now you can see those visuals of Haryana leaders who, are in Delhi. That is Nayab Singh Saini, who's the caretaker chief minister. The man who is, in some ways, he had become the face of Haryana BJP in remarkably lesser time than one would anticipate. Just 6 months, ago, he was made the chief minister, replacing Manohar Lal, BJP's chief minister for last almost 9 years. And Mr. Saini comes from the OBC community. OBCs have also voted for the BJP in large numbers.
Large numbers, absolutely, yes. And the BJP placing its bets on Nayab Singh Saini 6 months back. Who would have thought that Nayab Singh Saini, when he replaced ML Khattar, he would bring this big victory for the BJP. Of course, there were other forces at play also. Other important BJP leaders have to be given the credit. But yes, Nayab Singh Saini is also to be given credit here for this big decisive victory of the BJP in Haryana. Let's listen in to what the chief minister had said just a while back. We have a reaction coming in from ML Khattar as well.
देखिए, इस प्रचंड जीत का जो श्रेय है वो श्रेय आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को जाता है, जिन्होंने पिछले 10 वर्षों में ऐसी नीतियां, ऐसी योजनाएं चलाई हैं जिसका लाभ गरीब व्यक्ति को भी मिल रहा है, जिसका लाभ किसान को भी मिल रहा है, जिसका लाभ युवा को भी मिल रहा है। मोदी जी को देश के लोग प्यार करते हैं, मोदी जी को देश के लोग स्नेह करते हैं और उसका परिणाम है भारतीय जनता पार्टी हरियाणा के अंदर तीसरी बार प्रचंड बहुमत से वो आई है।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जिस प्रकार के काम कर रही है, सारे देश में माहौल अच्छा है। लोगों के मन को भाने वाले इस प्रकार का जो रिजल्ट दिया है और साइलेंट वोटर जो है इसमें बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभाई है उसने, क्योंकि वोकल वोटर तो हमेशा मीडिया में इधर उधर जा करके या जाके एजेंसियों को अपनी बात बताता है, साइलेंट वोटर को बताता नहीं है।
सर, जिस तरह से सरकार गठन है, कितने दिनों में प्रोसीजर पूरा हो जाएगा?
अब ये तो पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड और हमारे जो प्रदेश के लोग हैं वो मिलकर के तय करेंगे।
सर, मुख्यमंत्री कौन होंगे?
तो वो ही तय करेंगे।
My colleague Aishwarya joins us with more details on this. Aishwarya, tell us what is the plan of Nayab Singh Saini going to be today? Because on agenda, of course, is the next government cabinet formation in Haryana. And it is very interesting that Manohar Lal is back in the forefront, and he was never, in some ways behind the curtains, because, he was always there. Somebody like Nayab Singh Saini, he's seen as his own, a protege. So clearly, he was also taking instructions from Manohar Lal. So this is the BJP not really abandoning any of its leaders. At the same time, now it's a united ship, and the focus now is to ensure that the next cabinet has the new faces and also representatives from all the communities that have actually voted for the party, ensuring its remarkable hat-trick.
Well, certainly Nayab Singh Saini, after meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg before the cabinet meeting, arrived at Haryana Bhavan, and he clearly stated that it was, of course, 10 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision and his leadership and the policies that are for all the section of societies led Haryana to the path of development. And 9.5 years of Manohar Lal Khattar's government and 6 months of Nayab Singh Saini clearly had taken Haryana to its greater heights, and the promises that had been done to the people in the Sankalp Patra will also be fulfilled under the Prime Minister's leadership and the double engine sarkar that the Haryana will have. From now on, what we have been told is that Nayab Singh Saini will be going to Dharmendra Pradhan's residence at around 12 noon, and there is a key meeting that will take place as far as Dharmendra Pradhan is concerned. He is the BJP in charge for the state of Haryana, along with senior leaders who will be also arriving as far as Biplab Dev is concerned and Surendra Pathak is concerned. But on the other side, it is also on the cards as far as JP Nadda's meeting with Nayab Singh Saini. It will be, of course, a congratulatory meeting that will take place at around 3 p.m. is what we have been told. And later, because the Bharatiya Janata Party wants that as soon as possible, the government should form the parliamentary board meeting should be conducted, and the observers, according to our sources, by the BJP has been told they will be sent to Chandigarh, where a legislative party meeting will be called, and there the leader will be elected. In all likelihood, it will be Nayab Singh Saini. But yes, as you rightly mentioned, there would be some old faces, there would be some new faces, and all these sections will be kept in mind before forming the cabinet.
Yes, Aishwarya, thank you so much for getting us all those details there. Key meetings lined up today as well. Well, Nayab Singh Saini, who is all set to become the next chief minister, as per sources, the information is coming, is also going to meet Dharmendra Pradhan next at 12 noon. That is what we are learning when the
protocol
meeting
will be
is
followed.
going to take place.
That's what he was saying, that once the protocol, there'll be observers that will be appointed. They will travel to Haryana. They'll speak to all the MLAs who have been elected, and of course, and then the CM will be elected. That, of course, is the process. But we all know that, of course, the CM is always one that the leadership wants. And of course, here it looks like Nayab Singh Saini is likely to continue as the Chief Minister of Haryana.
Absolutely. Let's now talk about Jammu Kashmir as well. The Congress National Conference Alliance is all set to form the next government in Jammu Kashmir. The alliance had secured 49 seats out of 90, winning the assembly elections. Well, Omar Abdullah is also all set to become the Jammu Kashmir Chief Minister, as was announced by Farooq Abdullah. Here is what Omar Abdullah told NDTV in one of his first few interviews. And also he spoke to the media today as well. Listen into that as well.
यहाँ हुकूमत बनते ही मैं तो ये उम्मीद करूँगा कि कैबिनेट का पहला फैसला ये होगा कि वो एक रेजोल्यूशन कैबिनेट की तरफ से पास करें कि मरकज़ को अब जम्मू कश्मीर में रियासत का दर्जा देना चाहिए। ऐसी बात नहीं है कि हम बीजेपी की सियासत को कबूल करेंगे या बीजेपी हमारी सियासत कबूल करेगी। बीजेपी के साथ तो हमारा टकराव रहेगा, लेकिन मरकज़ के साथ टक्कर करना ये हमारी कोई मजबूरी नहीं है। मरकज़ के साथ ठीक ठाक ताल्लुकात बने, मुझे लगता है ये जम्मू कश्मीर के लिए और जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों के लिए फ़ायदेमंद होगा। जम्मू कश्मीर के वोटरों ने झगड़े के लिए वोट नहीं दिए। जम्मू कश्मीर के वोटरों ने वोट का इस्तेमाल किया क्योंकि वो रोज़गार चाहते हैं, नौकरियां चाहते हैं, तरक्की चाहते हैं, वो रियासत का दर्जा चाहते हैं, वो बिजली में एक राहत चाहते हैं, अन्य उनके जो मुश्किलात हैं वो उन मुश्किलातों का हल चाहते हैं, और वो मुश्किलातों का हल नई दिल्ली के साथ झगड़ा करके नहीं होगा।
Nazir, my colleague, joins us from Srinagar. Big takeaways from what Omar Abdullah is saying today, Nazir, but the manifesto of the National Conference was also massive with many promises there. So clearly, while Omar Abdullah is saying that he will work with the centre and there's no reason for him to be antagonistic towards the centre, there is, of course, a little challenge that he will face in implementing his own party's policies.
Yeah, exactly. It is one thing when you are in opposition, and it's completely different thing when you have actually run a government. And that too in a place like Jammu and Kashmir, which has multiple challenges, which has a complex problems and a complex history also. So in that sense that no J&K government can afford to have a confrontation with the central government, and central government would be thinking that would be the last thing for the central government to have confrontation with the Jammu and Kashmir government, because it is a complex issue. It has serious, security, repercussions, and also international repercussions as well. So every government, now Omar Abdullah, when I spoke to him yesterday, he said, look, elections are done and dusted. Now let's talk politics after 4.5 years when next election will be around us. Till then, we can jointly try to resolve the issue of people, resolve unemployment, make Jammu and Kashmir a peaceful and a progressive place. That is what he said. So clearly he wants that, he said, Prime Minister is an honorable man and he will fulfill his commitment, which is the restoration of J&K's statehood. He's also talked about, he can travel to Delhi and meet Prime Minister once the government is formed. And he also has, we heard him talking about the first cabinet, passing the resolution about restoration of J&K statehood. That remains perhaps the, central to during elections and demand of every political party, including BJP, has been saying, look, statehood was taken away. Now it will be restored. And BJP has never said it will not be restored. It's only the question of when. So that's the thing. And many believe that in the next parliament section, a bill should be introduced in the parliament. And we know even Rahul Gandhi during his repeated, has made repeated statements on restoration of statehood that appears to become take the central stage once the government is formed. But the real challenge of running the government, giving people sense of belonging, particularly when National Conference has got a resounding mandate, but its real challenge would also come from the Jammu because it doesn't have many, MLAs from Jammu, and because Jammu has most of the seats have been won by
Absolutely.
BJP
So
in
maintaining
Jammu.
that coordination with the BJP, of course, is important here, and of course, working with its alliance partner, the Congress Party here in Jammu Kashmir. Thank you so much, Nazir, for getting us all those details there. We'll get back to you later for more. Meanwhile, it's time for a short break. Yeah, we'll be right back.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always bustling. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
NDTV World Summit 2024, October 21st and 22nd, only on NDTV Network.
कि जिसकी सरकार सेंटर में हुई है उसी की सरकार प्रदेश में होती है।
एंटी इनकम्बेंसी को कैसे देख रहे हैं? इनकम्बेंसी नहीं है,
प्रो इनकम्बेंसी।
कांग्रेस आ रही है, भाजपा जा रही है।
Congress is going to form the government in Haryana with a big majority.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Welcome back after the break. We have a breaking news now coming in. Rahul Gandhi has reacted on the Haryana and Jammu Kashmir poll results. Rahul Gandhi in his tweet has said that the party is going to challenge the poll verdict. Rahul Gandhi has also in this tweet said that we are going to go to the EC over the Haryana result. My heartfelt thanks to the people of Jammu Kashmir. India's victory in this state is a victory of the constitution, a victory of democratic self-respect. He said we are analyzing the unexpected results of Haryana. We will inform the election commission about the complaints coming in from many assembly constituencies. Well, and Rahul Gandhi has gone on to say in this tweet that we will continue this fight for rights, for social and economic justice, for truth, and we will keep raising your voice. Well, remember in that press conference also that was held yesterday, the Congress party had raised questions over the Haryana poll results, saying that The Election Commission website wasn't really working properly. It was working very slow and the results were being updated very slow. They also went on to blame the EVMs. And now the Congress party with Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, also now putting out this tweet saying that the Congress party is going to inform the Election Commission about the complaints that have come in from various assembly constituencies in Haryana. Shifting our focus now to some more news that we're tracking amid the Israel-Hezbollah conflict. Nasrallah's successors have been killed, as has been informed by Israel. The UN chief also reacted, saying that Lebanon is on the verge of all-out war. We have reactions coming in. Also, my colleague Ghazali continues to report from the war zone. Let's take a look.
You have an opportunity that hasn't existed in decades. An opportunity to take care of the future of your children and grandchildren. You have an opportunity to save Lebanon before it falls into the abyss of a long war that will lead to destruction and suffering like we see in Gaza.
The situation in the southern suburb of Lebanon is very dire, because not only the ground engagement with the combat forces is happening on the southern suburbs, but aerial attacks have been also happening on areas which Israel claims is the stronghold of Hezbollah. But the civilian casualties have been very high in Lebanon for the last 2.5 weeks since the pager explosion was reported from this region. And now Israel is also claiming that its navy will get or enter into Lebanon to occupy more territories, because yesterday, in one of the areas which is close to the Israeli-Lebanon border, which Israel claimed was perhaps a launch pad or kind of a workstation for Hezbollah from where it used to launch rockets towards Israel, has been occupied by the Israeli forces. They have posted Israeli flag in that particular region. Many villages have been evacuated, and not just near the border areas. Right now, I am here in Beirut, in the city center, and right behind me is the area called Dahieh. Dahieh is one area where Israeli bombardment have been intense. Every day almost there have been bombardments in that particular region from where the Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah was killed. Now, what has happened in the last 24 hours? The deputy chief of Hezbollah issued a public statement yesterday addressing the people of Lebanon, saying that perhaps Israel has not been able to dismantle its operations, Hezbollah's operations, and their power, their influence is still intact, and they're engaging in ground combat with Israeli forces. And that is why their influence have been so enriching, perhaps, that Israel has been forced to choose the option of entering into Lebanon through the sea route, through their navy forces. But what we are expecting is that despite all the appeals of ceasefire, the US has said that perhaps it has failed to achieve the ceasefire, and now they want Israel to dismantle Hezbollah and deplete its influence in Lebanon. So what we are expecting, that this war will continue to go on.
All right, we'll continue to report on that big story that we're tracking. At this point in time, we are learning now some more news. The RBI has kept its key interest rates unchanged for the 10th consecutive time. Its Governor Shaktikanta Das announced today. What does this mean for you? My colleague Sakshi Bajaj explains.
The prevailing well-balanced growth inflation dynamics is indeed a testimony to the success of this monetary policy framework. Going forward, the moderation in headline inflation is expected to reverse in September and likely to remain elevated in the near term due to adverse base effects, among other factors. Real GDP grew by 6.7% in the first quarter of this financial year, that is 24-25. And this was led by a revival in private consumption and improvement in investment. The share of investment in GDP reached its highest level since 2012-13.
The RBI leaving the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. Remember, the lending rate has now been unchanged for the 10th consecutive time. And remember, this comes due to the fact that the RBI was maintaining a cautious approach in the aim towards balancing inflation and economic growth both at large. RBI governor very clearly stating there that, look, domestic growth has sustained momentum and the growth projection for India as the economy has been left unchanged at 7.2% at large for the current financial year. So painting a very optimistic picture as far far as growth is concerned, but also saying that going forward for inflation, we will need to keep an eye out, because he does say that, look, due to unfavorable base and food inflation rates, going forward, the CPI print for September, for the month of September, the CPI print may come in higher, the RBI governor says. So inflation really is something one will have to watch out for. Also says that, significant risks to inflation continue to stare at us, but India's economy at large is presenting a very stable picture in the face of, remember, what the world is facing at large, geopolitical risks dominating the rest of the world. So the RBI governor very clearly saying that India's economy is maintaining a stable picture at the moment.
And while the other big development today is from the auto space, specifically Hyundai India, as the auto major has fixed the price band for India's largest IPO, with the company looks to raise over 27,000 crore rupees. Puneet joins us with the key details and a look into how it fares with its biggest competitors.
India's biggest IPO in terms of the money raised, roughly about 27,870 odd crores. The last one was LIC at around 21,000 crores back in May of 2022. So definitely a big IPO coming in. Now the price band is set to be around 1,865 to around 1,900 rupees, 1,960 odd rupees at the upper price band. And it's expected to open between 15th and 17th of October. Now the bids can be made in a minimum of 7 equity shares and multiples of thereafter, offering roughly 14.2 crore shares via an OFS or offer for sale, and there is no fresh issue component in this particular IPO. When you look at, the key other details, that the indicative market cap of the company is going to be around 1.58 lakh crores based on the upper price band of 1,960 rupees per share. And, the anchor portion currently as per the RHP is roughly 4.2 crore shares. They roughly translate to 8,300 odd crores. It's a big participation needed from mutual funds as well as other HNI investors to, make this IPO a key success. Now, when you look at, the split between retail as well as QIB around 15%, retail has been around at 35% in this particular IPO, so it will look at participation. Let's just look at some key numbers. The sales growth has been really strong for Hyundai, around 7.7 lakhs in FY24 specifically. It's a big growth of about 8% from the previous year, while for Q1 as well, it's been a 5 to 6% growth. It's really strong, coming at 1.2 lakhs. I also want to take a look at the export numbers. Roughly 24% of what they make in India is exported to Southeast as well as Southeast Asian markets, and that's one of the key things that aids margins as well. And when you look at the next graph, we'll be able to see the financial impact of that as well. So for FY23 and 24, the growth we can see roughly 69,000 crores of revenue in FY24. When you look at the margins, also really strong at 13.1%, and that's higher than what Maruti did for FY24, roughly about 11.6% is what they reported. For Q1 also, we have the numbers. Again, really strong margin profile at 13.5%, and that's reflected in the strong numbers as well. When you look at, the next, and we want to make a comparison between that and Maruti, as you rightly said. Now, for sales, the volumes, it does roughly 1/3 of volumes of what Maruti does at around, 7.7 lakh units, while on revenue, it's half of Maruti. Look at the margin profile, though, higher than Maruti, or what, as we mentioned, by roughly about 150 basis points. So a big jump there. Profitability as well. Of course, Maruti is higher, and I want to just take that point. Why is it higher for Maruti like that? On a gross fixed basis, now we've taken this particular metric is on depreciation on the gross fixed assets. So Hyundai depreciates higher compared to Maruti, and that lowers the profits as well. For other income component also, Maruti is very high cash generating, while the tax is also lower for someone like a Maruti. So that's where we see the divergence in profitability, but EBITDA profile of Hyundai is really strong. Finally, when you look at, the value, the key valuation picture here is dependent on three things. One is the net worth of the company. Now, we saw a very big drop in net worth from FY23 levels. So from 20,000 crore of net worth, it's roughly half to 10,000 crores, and that's because they had a very big dividend component in this particular time frame as well. So if you see the dividend component in Q1 was specifically very large, and that's one of the key things. So 15,000 crores of dividend in FY24 versus just 1,400 crores last year, and that's reduced the net worth for the company as well. Finally, on price to equity basis, it was expected to be around or even a premium at some point of time to Maruti. That's not the case now. When you look at the net worth, we didn't mention it, but ROE has dropped because of the high dividend payout. Look at the market cap to PAT though. It's coming at 1.58 lakh as we mentioned, so it's lower than that of Maruti. On EV EBITDA basis also, it's much cheaper. Price to earnings is something because, a lower PAT for Hyundai. So that means the PAT, the price to earnings is similar at 26 times. But overall, a very big thumbs up on the issue basis on the, the high export sales, higher margins compared to, someone like Maruti Suzuki. but it's going to be key to see if this issue gets lapped up as, one of the biggest issues as we spoke about. Back to you.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
With jalebis on Haryana platter, BJP takes jalebi jibe at Rahul Gandhi. Haryana BJP says 1 kg of jalebis have been sent to Rahul Gandhi's house.
From the heart of city in Beirut, a city which is scarred by violence and caught between the crossfire between Israel and Hezbollah. A war which started a year ago between Israel and Hamas has now spilled over to Lebanon. NDTV is on the ground to bring latest updates, in-depth analysis, and how the evolving war has impacted this country. Stay tuned for latest updates.
Reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
NDTV World Summit 2024, October 21st and 22nd, only on NDTV Network.
कि जिसकी सरकार सेंटर में हुई है उसी की सरकार प्रदेश में होती है।
एंटी इनकम्बेंसी को कैसे देख रहे हैं? इनकम्बेंसी नहीं है,
प्रो इनकम्बेंसी। कांग्रेस आ रही है, भाजपा जा रही है।
Congress is going to form the government in Haryana with a big majority.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
Rahul Gandhi says we will move the election commission over the Haryana verdict. He also says that there are serious allegations that have come to the Congress High Command over the Haryana mandate.
India bloc allies question the Congress over Haryana drubbing. Satraps corner Congress over the Haryana debacle. Uddhav Sena, Aam Aadmi Party, TMC all question Congress party's alleged arrogance.
The Haryana government formation talks pick pace. Poised to be the Chief Minister, Nayab Singh Saini is in the national capital. He meets the Prime Minister and now he is headed to the Haryana government.
Omar Abdullah's olive branch to the centre after Jammu and Kashmir victory. Omar Abdullah says that Jammu and Kashmir and centre need to work together for the people of the state. He's set to be the next chief minister.
No change in EMIs ahead of the festive season. The RBI leaves a key lending rate, the repo rate, unchanged. A humanitarian crisis unfolds at war-front Lebanon. NDTV reports from the epicenter of the conflict.
A day after the unexpected results in Haryana, the Congress party continues to challenge the poll verdict. In fact, reacting to the Haryana loss, after 24 hours, Rahul Gandhi has spoken out. He has said that he will go to the Election Commission over Haryana results.
That's right. He said, my heartfelt thanks to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. But the key point that he has made is that we will keep analyzing the unexpected results and we will move the Election Commission over this as well. In fact, Sunil Prabhu is now joining us live. So Sunil sir, Rahul Gandhi in a sense reiterating what the Congress said yesterday all day. Is the Congress expected to move the Election Commission? Rahul Gandhi himself has now said that they're looking at the Haryana verdict very closely.
That's right. They will definitely be, collating all the information, in particular those 3 districts that we've been mentioning, and will then, of course, go to the Election Commission with those list of complaints. As you're well aware, right from in a test match or in a thing, a referee always decides the date of the match. Here, in this case, right from day 1, the date of the match also was changed. From the 1st, it was shifted to the 5th. There are a litany of complaints that the Congress has been alleging against the Election Commission, which is a constitutional body which has to conduct a free and fair election. They were quick to respond to Jairam yesterday, Jairam Ramesh, on those unfounded charges that he had made about slow uploading. That they were able to refute. Of course, here there is a litany of complaints that Mr. Huda and his supporters, as well as the candidates, have. There are a number of factors, apart from the fact that caste polarization took place. But the Congress definitely, as you see, led from Rahul Gandhi itself, saying that we will continue to fight for the people's issues in Haryana. They have analyzed to a great extent that there has been 11% surge in terms of increase of the Congress vote share. And yet with that the decimal points, 0.4, 0.7 decimal points difference between the two, the difference has become huge. Of course, what Rahul Gandhi hasn't stated on the tweet, but is really making his party workers now rethink, especially in Maharashtra and in Jharkhand, the fact that you should have had the unity of opposition forces. If the Congress had an alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party, as Rahul Gandhi wanted Mr. Huda to do, and extracted that promise from him, of course, ultimately both didn't agree in terms of number of seats. They weren't able to agree to it. The rest is history. The Congress today, even with that point, even with 11% surge, hasn't been able to make that killer instinct in the state of Haryana. So definitely a lot of lessons to learn in Maharashtra, where they will have to have not only a good alliance with the MVA, that is Uddhav Thackeray, as well as Mr. Sharad Pawar. They will also have to concede something that Mr. Uddhav Thackeray has spoken to the Congress leadership about the Chief Minister's chair for Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, because he was unseated. So a lot of, homework to be done by the Congress party at this present juncture. But they definitely feel this was a victory that they have lost. And it's come as a surprise because, as we've been saying, not one pollster, not one media house, nobody, even the BJP leaders themselves conceded that the Haryana elections was not going their way.
All right, Sunil, thank you so much for joining us. And as Sunil was pointing out, the allies have started to question Congress Party's Haryana strategy. In fact, the Uddhav Thackeray Sena chief representative Sanjay Rawat has said that had that alliance that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Samajwadi Party had proposed, that they should go into an alliance in Haryana, Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party wanted just 4 to 5 seats to contest, and Aam Aadmi Party, interestingly, has managed around 1% vote, something that is the vote share gap between the BJP and the Congress. First up, Sanjay Raut.
हरियाणा में इंडिया गठबंधन नहीं बन पाया क्योंकि वहां कांग्रेस को लगता था कि बस हम अपने ताकत पर, अपने बलबूते पर जीतेंगे तो सत्ता में और कोई भागीदार नहीं चाहिए। तो हमारे जो मित्र है हुड्डा जी या कांग्रेस के नेता है, उनको लगा कि हम ही जीतेंगे। अगर समाजवादी पार्टी है अखिलेश जी की, आप है केजरीवाल साहब के नेतृत्व में, हमारे जैसे छोटे छोटे दल है, हमारे खाते में 1-2 सीटें आ जाती तो जरूर ये जो चित्र है, ये निर्णय है जो जनता ने दिया, उसमें जरूर बदलाव होता। मैं ये मानता हूँ कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जो चुनाव लड़ा है वो बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से लड़ा है। हारी हुई बाजी बीजेपी ने जीत ली, ये मान्य करना पड़ेगा।
पहली चीज तो किसी भी चुनाव को हल्के में नहीं लेना चाहिए। अभी तो पता नहीं नतीजे क्या हैं, लेकिन आज के चुनाव से सबसे बड़ी सबक यही है कि ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस मत करना कभी भी। किसी भी चुनाव को हल्के में नहीं लेना चाहिए। हर चुनाव कठिन होता है, हर चुनाव में हर सीट कठिन होती है, मेहनत करनी है।
So a lot of questions being faced now by the Congress party. Their bargaining power certainly has gone down ahead of the crucial states of Maharashtra and Jharkhand. In both these states, remember, there is an alliance government right now with, in one state it is, it's of course with the JMM, the other one is Mahayuti. But Mahavikas Aghadi factions have started questioning Congress party's overconfidence and their inability, many would say, in performing when there is a direct contest between the BJP and the Congress.
All right, I'm being told Aishwarya Jain is now joining us live. So Aishwarya, yesterday it was Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal who hit out at the Congress, took that infighting jibe. So of course the Congress has a lot to introspect, but looking forward to the upcoming elections. Of course we have Maharashtra, but also here in Delhi, where the Congress's alliance has clearly failed with the Aam Aadmi Party, and they've decided to go it alone as well. So that is something that the Congress will have to very, very seriously consider.